Hey, hi, thank you everyone, thank you. Hey, you know what, I'm gonna do something a little bit different than what I was expected to do. And what I wanna do is, I wanna do some magic tricks. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna do some predicting. Like, for instance, right over here, yup, you right there. I bet you're here because you wanna hear some jokes and you wanna laugh. Am I right? All right. And over here, there's a couple over here. You guys over there, I bet you're here because you wanna be entertained. You wanna forget about the day, have a good time tonight. As most of you people want to do that. Am I correct? All right, good. I'm glad to hear that. And I'm going to provide that to you in about 10 or 15 minutes when I get off stage. Because it's not going to happen right now. So if you're expecting that, it's not going to happen. And, whoa. I understand. Okay, all right, I know. You guys paid $6 to come in here, and you expected to be entertained. But come on, think of it. $6, $3, that's $6. You got 3 comedians down here, and that's $2 a comedian. That's not much money, people. That really, truly isn't. And if you divide it up by the number of laughs, or by the number of laughs by jokes per comedian, you're paying what? I mean, if the guy is pretty good, you're paying about 20 cents a joke. If the guy is real good, you got Randy, he's always getting laughs, it's coming down to a penny a joke. Randy's jokes are about a penny a joke. You know, that's how good he is. And so, you know, you guys are doing okay. You're doing okay. What this place should be called is the 99-cent store of comedy, compared to, you know, because of how inexpensive it is to come in here. Now, I want to thank Randy for giving me this chance to come up here. This is my first time ever performing on stage to do this type of thing, and I do appreciate that. And I gotta ask something of you guys. I know you came in here, I know over here you wanted to hear jokes, I know you want to be entertained, but there's going to be some audience participation. And what you guys are going to be doing is that you're going to be breaking my comedic cherry. Yeah, you heard that right. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're going to be breaking my comedic cherry. And I can see over here, people say, break his comedic cherry. What the hell does that mean? I didn't want to come up here today. Last thing I want to do is break some old dude's cherry, man. I mean, that's crap. I don't want to do that. And right over here, yeah, relax. It's not what you're thinking. I can see you already thinking, does that mean I have to come up in line? Is there going to be a line? If there's a line, I don't want to go first because I really don't know what to do. But if I think I got to do what I think I got to do, I don't want to go like third or fourth either because that's going to be messy. That's not what it means. That's not what it means. What it means is I'm using a metaphor. I'm just using a metaphor. Now, that said, I gotta say, the choice is up to you if you want to practice protective laughing or non-protective laughing. That's all up to you. And the reason why I'm using metaphors is because I'm a teacher. Okay, that's not that I like using metaphors, I just use them a lot. And I have a freedom to be able to use certain metaphors that I could not use otherwise, being up here on stage. Like the first time I went to teach, my first class, you know, I wanted so bad to say, hey Susie, hey Billy, hi George, guess what? You guys are gonna break my teaching cherry today. Isn't that great, huh? You can go home and tell your mom and dad, guess what? We broke Mr. Campbell's cherry today. You know, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work, you know? So I like having this freedom of what I do. For instance, I always want to say this, you know, I'm teaching of Mice and Men right now, and one of the prompts that the kids have to do for an essay is, how does John Steinbeck use characterization to show that Lenny does or does not know right from wrong? And always, there are kids, they don't even raise their hand. They just volunteer what they're thinking right off the bat. And they'll say, you know what, this sucks. This just sucks. And I want so badly to go up and say, well, guess what, Josh? You better start sucking it. Because if you don't complete it by the end of class, you're going to be doing it tonight. You know, but I can't do that. I can't do that. But I like this metaphor of breaking cherries and everything. I remember the first time my father was trying to tell me about sexual relationships, where babies come from, you know, all of that. he used that. He said, you know, Bob, I said, I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you about what you need to do to get your cherry busted, you know? And I kind of went, what? You know, looking at that. And he was telling me about it, and he was saying, one of the things you've got to be concerned about is the number of people who are involved in it. He says you want to have more than one, because one doesn't count, but you don't want to have more than three. He says, because that gets too weird. But three, that's a good number. If you're going to get your cherry busted, you got 3 people doing it. He says, there's bragging rights for that. You know? And during this conversation, he kind of got a little bit upset with me because, you know, I'm watching TV and I got these Fruit Loops in there. Fruit Loops was a big thing back then. You know, I remember, like, I like to put them in the water. In the water. Put them in the milk and start stirring them around, see if I could get the milk turn all different type of colors in it, because they had all kind of fancy colors and everything in that. And I had the stuff. I was a sloppy eater. I had it stuck on my lips. It was going down my legs and that. My father's getting all upset. And he's, but you got to pay attention. This is important. You know how hard this is to be doing this to me. And I look back then, I could understand, well, I could see why he got upset, but now that I got kids of my own, I can't see it, because he should have known my attention span wasn't that long, because I was only 10 years old. Now, he continued, after he got my attention, he continued with it, and he also told me, he said, one thing you need to be concerned about too when you're going to go get your cherry busted is the least amount of money that changes hands, the better the experience is going to be. He said if you pay a lot of money for it, it's not really worth it. And he'd be proud of me tonight, because looking around this audience, I can tell that there's not a lot of people here, and I'm not getting a dime. Now, a little bit why I'm here. Well, there was a conversation I had at my dinner table not too long ago that you know, I found very disturbing. And there was an article that I read in the New York Times, and I decided to do an act around it. Now, before I get too far into that, I want to tell you about the dynamics of my household, what happens around the dinner table. First of all, I have a 17-year-old daughter, and I have a 10-year-old daughter. I have a wife who is a school psychologist, who is younger than I am. And I'm kind of proud of that fact. I tell you, I'm so proud of that fact that I make it a point now that I go out and buy her tampons. All right, there was a time in our relationship where I did not want to do that. I just felt it like it'd be like me sending her out to buy condoms. You know, like she wouldn't want to do that, and it's me doing the same thing. I just didn't feel comfortable with it. But all of a sudden, now that I'm 58 years old, or 59, I think it's great. I can't wait to go out to buy her tampons, because I want the whole world to know that I am sleeping with a woman who is young enough to menstruate. I mean, I will go into Cumberland Farms, I will start looking, I'll go into Cumberland Farms, and I'll start asking where the maxis are, where the minis are. You know, I know all this information. What I pretend not to know is where they are. So I am screeching that out. Hey, where's the maxi pads at? Where's the mini pads? You know, I'll even go to BJ's or Sam's and I'll buy them bulk. That is an unbelievable time for me, because I'll buy these things bulk, because what that says is that I'm sleeping with one menstruating woman, or I'm sleeping with a woman who is young enough to menstruate. Whatever. All right. So anyway, going on. I got a little bit off the angle there. Talking about the conversations around the table and the dynamics. As I said, my wife's a school psychologist, and she deals with a lot. In the morning, she has to get the kids up. She has to deal with getting them out of bed. They don't want to go to school. Where's my homework? I don't want to eat this for breakfast. She goes through all of that. Then she goes to work, and her work can be physical. She has to restrain kids. She gets spit on, you know, all that stuff. So when she gets home to the table, she wants to just check out, you know. And my 17-year-old daughter is 17 years old, so she doesn't want to do much of anything either, you know. So it's up to me to deal with what's going on in there. And I have a daughter, my 10-year-old daughter is, man, she is always bing, bang, boom. What about this? What's this? Well, how come this happens? What, you know, going on? A couple of weeks ago, she was watching the Roosevelts with us, that PBS special. And she was a Friday night, she stayed and watched the whole thing from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock with me and my wife. And it was dealing with the World War II segment, and obviously World War II, Hitler was involved in it. And she's looking at Hitler, and she's saying, wow, you know, if he didn't have that mustache and that hairdo, he'd be probably a good-looking man. And if he was a good-looking man, then things probably would have worked better for him. And whatever experiences he had wearing that idiot mustache, he wouldn't have had there, and maybe things would have been totally different. And I'm thinking, damn. I said, I can't believe this. She wasn't around when they were having the queer guy for the straight guy, but man, she's gonna start something like a straighter makeover for the fucking dictator. So anyway, you know, that's the type of daughter I have. She's coming up with all these questions. And so what is happening now is she's asking me questions where I have answers for, but I don't want to ruin her innocence. See, I'm the type of father that is, you know, I look at myself as I'm pretty liberal in a lot of situations. I consider myself educated. I consider myself modern. So what that translates to, that anything sexual that it's dealing with my kids, the public school is going to answer for her, right? And so I don't know what she knows and what she doesn't know, right? So she's asking me questions. She's asking, hey, Dad, Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse, they're married, right? And I go, yeah. She goes, but they've never entered puberty. How could that happen? And I'm going, and I'm looking over at my wife, and she's out, and I'm kind of looking over at my other daughter, and she's out, but I can tell something's bothering her, you know? But there's no help there. So I say something cute like, well, it depends on what state they're in. If they live in Georgia or it's in Texas, that's okay. Thinking, you know, that will work for her, you know? And then what happens is she's asking more questions and they become harder, you know? And now she's dealing with what I guess you could call intercartoonal relationships. Like, hey, Dad, how come SpongeBob doesn't go out with Tweety Bird? Or how come Bambi never went out with Donald Duck? And I'm like, I don't want to answer these questions, you know? So my defense mechanism at this point is that I'm just filling my mouth out with food. Because if my mouth is full with food, you know, and if I start talking, then my wife is going to say something. She's going to just ram me up, man. She's gonna just tell me to shut up, what's the matter, right? So I'm eating food, I got my mouth full of food. And then out of nowhere though, my daughter says, hey Dad, what is this thing about gang rape? I'm hearing so much about gang rape. And all of a sudden, this mouthful of food is no longer full of food because it is all over the table. So what, right? And that still though, I gotta deal with that situation about the gang rape. And I'm thinking, man, how I relish the days when my kids would ask questions where any answer would work for them. Like my oldest one used to ask me questions about the Kleenex. She goes, Dad, how come you pick one Kleenex up and you pick another one up and it just keeps on going? It's like there's no end to it. How come that happens? Or how come the fireworks, like one goes up higher than the other and one's different colors and one's red and one's blue? I would say, Nellie, that's because of magic. And they would buy that and it would be so great. But I don't have this now with this, my daughter. My daughter asked me about gang rape. And I got food all over the table, and no one knows over here helping me. And I'm thinking, oh man, why couldn't she just say, Dad, how come Justin Bieber is such a fucking dick? Because if she said that, I could have said, you're upstairs and you're washing your mouth out with soap for 4 weeks. And that would be the end of the discussion. But she didn't ask me why Justin Bieber is a fucking dick. She asked me about gang rape. So, now I'm thinking, what's going on? How am I going to answer this? And I'm looking at my wife again, and I'm looking at my daughter. But this time, I'm cluing in to what my wife is. And I know her, because we've been together for 25 years. And I know how she thinks. And what she's thinking is with an analytical mind. And she is about thinking about gang rape, or excuse me, about regular rape. She can deal with regular rape. All right, that's one penis, that's one scrotum. There is plenty of parking spaces to accommodate that. But gang rape, that's not the case. There are many penises, many scrotums, limited amount of parking spaces, you know, and that's what she's thinking. And as she's thinking this, it's almost like now my mind is coming in. I have images of my mind, and in my mind the images are, I got penises smashing through the roof of my house, invading my kitchen. I got penises smashing up through the kitchen floor like weapons of mass destruction. All right, that's going to come in and destroy all that is holy to me. My wife, my 17-year-old daughter, my 10-year-old daughter. All right, and I don't know what to do about this now. And at this point, all right, my daughter, my oldest daughter, the one who seemed to be withdrawn, who there was a time in the not too long ago past where any problem she had, all I needed to do was pick her up in my arms and tell her, Nellie, everything will be okay. Daddy's here. That daughter all of a sudden looks at my wife and knows my wife is about to end this conversation. But my daughter, for whatever reason, she gets up and she starts yelling and she starts saying, no, mama, mama, no, mama, no, don't you dare stop him. Don't you dare stop him from saying this, mama. Don't you do that. You don't know how afraid I am. You don't know how scared I am, mama. Don't do it, mama. I'm going to be going to college next year. And I'm so afraid of being raped. So afraid. Now, I told you guys you weren't going to laugh. Okay? And this brings me up to the second part of why I'm doing this. And it's this article in the New York Times. Is everyone okay? Is everyone okay with this? Okay. This article about a very courageous woman from Holbrook and William Smith College was raped.